there are so many things that we need to prepare for in so many aspects. It becomes totally overwhelming for a lot of us on a daily basis. Aloha and welcome to Hawaii Preppers Network 808. End of life preparedness. Are you prepared if someone in the family passes away? Do you have a plan in place? Funeral plans? Do you have a trust and will plan? A power of attorney? Power of attorney, there are so many different types of powers of attorneys. So that's something that if you do not have, you might want to look into and check it out and discuss these things over with your family members. Now, if you do have a trust and or will or both, you may need to update some of these plans if changes need to be done. Know that if you decide to update a will or trust, you're going to have to pay a fee for updating and making any changes that will be needed done to the trust and or will. For example, if someone on your will passes away before you'll need to update it. Not, wait. I wouldn't wait on that, but I'm not sure what the fees will be on it, but you'll need to look into that as well. Now, a lot of people don't like going down that avenue, but this is part of life, and this is something that we all need to prepare for as best as we possibly can and are able to. It's life, so it's part of our preparedness as well. So having a plan for these things is the first step to take, but not just by yourself, with your family members as well. Get into a meeting with them and discuss these matters, especially if you are thinking about doing a POA, trust, a will, funeral plans like this. These things all need to be done in a timely manner. Especially if someone is very ill or sickly, because the unforeseeable can occur at any time, and it happens to so many of us. Now, my neighbor just passed away this morning, early in the morning. That particular neighbor was sickly, and he left a wife and 3 dogs, I believe. Therefore, me and some other neighbors kind of rallied together, and we're keeping in contact with that neighbor so that we can offer her help and assistance and just support her through this difficult time, this grieving process that she's going through. And that's something that you want to have. You want to have that support network just in case if something happens. We don't look forward to anything like this happening, but when it does, it's hard on the individual, and they're going to need all the help that they can get. So that's a good thing about having neighbors that are closely knit and bond together, like my neighbors. We are more or less really close neighbors, and we look out for one another here. And I was thinking, I cannot imagine how I would feel if something like that happened to me. And all I know is that having a support group to be able to assist and help you would mean the world to me. No matter what, just being there for the individual would mean the world to them. So we plan for all these things. We plan for power outages, natural weather disasters. We plan for, collapsing of the financial system. We're planning for food shortages. So many things that we are planning and preparing for, that it is almost easy to forget some things that a lot of people don't want to look at, but it needs to be done. And in this area, end of life preparedness, this is another very important area to think about, to talk about, to gather up with your family and hold a meeting and discuss these matters and how you're going to move forward, how you're going to implement these plans into the entire family, with everyone. Everyone needs to be on board. I feel everyone needs to be at least on the same page here, so that they know, in the event if something does occur and something happens to one of the family members, everyone's going to know more or less what to do and where they stand and how they can assist and help and support all the way around. So me and my other half, we have a plan already. We have a trust and a will in place, and I have a lineup on there in the event that if the first person, something happens to that first person, then the next person it'll go down to, and then if something occurs with that one, then it'll go down to the last person. So there's 3 people we have on it, and we did that specifically so that we wouldn't have to go in and back onto that trust and will and updating it. So we have 3 there already in place. Anything else, if need be, if we find that there's other changes, then perhaps we will need to go back in and update that trust and will. But as far as that goes, when it comes to funeral planning, we're just going to be donated to the colleges, or donating our bodies. That way we don't have to worry about my family members having to dish up any money. I don't want to burden anyone. We don't want to burden anyone any way, shape, or form in our family. And this is something that me and my husband came into agreement with, and it only makes sense, especially with the ways and the costs. Plots and these plans is very, very expensive now, and so I do not want to put the burden on the shoulders of family members and or relatives. So guys, this is something to think about. This is another area of preparedness that needs to be dealt with. Family members, relatives, perhaps in a family gathering meeting of sorts, a round table of family members. But this is basically it for today. So have a great day, guys, and aloha.